been around Jake for as long as you have, I mean, how nice is it seeing him grabbing this #1 spot finally at this point?
Yeah, I mean he's worked really hard to get there. I mean the last 2 years, or at least last year and a half, he's put in his time, doing double days with T2 and really working hard to earn this opportunity. And unfortunately, it happened at the expense of Adam's finger, but that's what this game's about, is being ready for your opportunity, and he's made the most of it, and he's done really well, and I'm really happy for him.
For a lot of other positions, you get chances throughout, but goalkeeper is the one where you're kind of either a backup or you're the starter. I mean, how tough is it to be just sitting there waiting for your opportunity year after year and trying to see when you can seize it?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, that's what makes that position so unique. I think only one person can play, so that's obviously difficult. But I think the main thing about it is you have to be ready for it, because you never know when that opportunity could happen. Whether it's funny enough, Jake took over for me in 2011 when I tore my hamstring in Toronto, and he was ready for that situation as a 21-year-old, and that's why he's been around so long. So we saw his experience, we saw his ability to step in those big games, and now you're seeing it come to fruition in terms of his play now.
How have you seen him grow since that 2011 season and continue to grow this year now that he's getting chances?
Well, I think a big part of it is the loan stints he had, going to Sacramento, playing games on a continuous basis, playing a full season, getting those games under your belt, getting that experience. That's massive for a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers usually don't mature until they're 25, 26, 27, and Jake's had the opportunity to go on loan in Sacramento and here and get games under his belt. So he's been able to get that exposure as well as the experience. So I think that's been massive in his development.
What are a couple of things you've kind of emphasized or talked Jake through during this transition, going back to obviously Adam, but just talk about the different roles? What have you kind of talked with him about in terms of being the #1?
Well, basically just making that spot his own. He's got to now see himself as the #1 and act accordingly, and that's a little bit different than being a backup. So I think he's done very well with it, and I think he's obviously been around to know what's expected of a #1, and as you guys have seen, he's really stepped into that role.
What's an example of something that might be a significant difference when you are #1?
I think communication, presence, things like that are things that come to mind right away.